What if your dog has been trying to tell you something is wrong, and you've been reading it as normal? No dramatic symptoms, no obvious distress, just small shifts in behavior that blend right into daily life. A little less energy, a little less interest in food, a little more time alone. Here's what most people don't realize. Dogs don't show depression the way we do. They go quiet. They pull back. And because it happens gradually, owners adapt to the new normal without ever asking why it changed. By the time it becomes obvious, it's usually been going on for months. These are the 7 signs to look for, and what to do if you recognize them. 1. The disappearing dog. They're still there, but they're gone. Have you noticed your dog retreating to a corner, a closet, or just the far end of the room more than usual? Not sleeping necessarily, just somewhere else. Most people think they want alone time. Dogs need space. It's nothing. Here's what's actually happening. In canine behavioral science, voluntary social withdrawal from a preferred human is one of the earliest and most consistent indicators of emotional distress. Dogs are deeply social animals. Isolation seeking is not a personality quirk. It is a symptom. Think about that for a second. A dog who loves you and suddenly stops seeking you out isn't becoming more independent. They may be shutting down. What makes this even harder to catch is how gradual it is. One day, they just don't follow you around anymore. They stop greeting you at the door. Each change is small enough to explain away. Together, they're telling a different story. And by the way, if you've also noticed your dog losing interest in food lately, don't ignore it. We'll get to what that means before the end of this video, and it's something most owners wish they'd understood sooner. 2. The science of canine grief. Their brain feels loss the way yours does. Here's where most people get this completely wrong. They assume dogs live in the present. Happy one moment, reset the next. No real memory of loss. No lingering sadness. But a 2016 study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that dogs show measurable behavioral changes following the loss of a companion, whether that's another animal or a person, including decreased activity, reduced appetite, and increased time sleeping. Researchers classified these as genuine grief responses. Not adjustment, not transition. Grief. What that means in plain language: your dog remembers. They feel absence. When their world changes, a family member moves out, another pet dies, you start working longer hours, their nervous system registers that as a loss, and it stays with them. So if your dog has seemed off for weeks after a change in your household, and you've been waiting for them to snap out of it, they may be waiting for you to notice first. 3. The body that stops moving. Low energy is not laziness. Dogs communicate through their bodies before anything else. And one of the most overlooked signs of depression is a dramatic drop in physical energy, not from illness, but from emotional depletion. A dog who used to meet you at the door and now barely lifts their head when you walk in is not lazy. They're not just getting older. Their body is reflecting what's happening inside. Behavioral scientists call this psychogenic lethargy, a drop in physical activity driven by emotional state rather than physical illness. It mirrors what we see in humans experiencing depression. The body becomes heavy because the mind is heavy. When the zoomies disappear, when the toy they used to carry everywhere just sits there untouched, when the tail that used to wag at the sound of your keys goes still, that's not a phase. That's their body sending a message their voice can't. Now, before we keep going, if you're learning something new about your dog right now, hit like and subscribe. That's how we get these videos to more dog owners who want to love their dogs the right way. 4. The ancient signal, why they stop eating. In the wild, a dog that stopped eating was a dog in danger. The pack would notice. Something was deeply wrong. That instinct is still hardwired into every domestic dog alive today. Appetite is tied to safety, to social stability, to belonging. When a dog feels emotionally unsafe, even inside a physically safe and comfortable home, their appetite is often the first thing that goes. Here's what most owners don't realize. Reduced appetite in the absence of physical illness is almost always emotional. It's not pickiness. It's not them being difficult. It's a primal signal from an animal whose inner world has shifted beneath the surface. Wild canines were never designed to stop eating without cause. So when your dog turns away from a bowl they would normally inhale, Their body is following an ancient script, one that says, something is not right in my world. 5. They stop playing, and it's not random. Here's something that hits differently when you really sit with it. Your dog doesn't stop playing with everyone equally. They stop initiating with you. The ball rolls to their feet, and they look away. You pick up the rope toy, and they watch without moving. They wait to be invited, and then quietly decline. Depression in dogs, just like in humans, strips away the desire for things that used to bring joy. Play is one of the first things to go, and because dogs are intensely attuned to their primary attachment figure, the withdrawal often centers specifically around that relationship. A 2020 study on canine social behavior found that dogs under chronic emotional stress show significantly reduced play initiation with their primary owner, while showing comparatively normal responses to novel stimuli. In plain terms, they don't disengage from life randomly. They disengage from you, the person whose emotional world is built around. That's not them pulling away carelessly. That's how deep the bond actually runs. 6. The ultimate revelation. Their eyes have changed. This is what most dog owners never realize, and it's the one I want you to pay the most attention to. Look at your dog's eyes. Not in passing. Really look. A depressed dog's gaze changes. The soft, present, curious alertness that used to be there gives way to something flatter. Lower eyelids, less tracking around the room, long, unfocused stares at nothing in particular. Researchers who study canine facial expression describe this as low arousal negative affect, the visual signature of an animal experiencing emotional withdrawal. Remember earlier when I mentioned that combination of social withdrawal and appetite loss? This is what I was pointing toward. When a dog stops seeking eye contact, understand what that costs them. Dogs evolved to read human faces more precisely than any other species on Earth. Eye contact with a trusted human releases oxytocin in both the dog and the owner. It is one of the most intimate things they do. It is how they stay connected to you. When they stop reaching for it, they are not pulling away casually. They are too depleted to reach for the very thing that used to bring them comfort. That is not indifference. That is a dog asking for help in the only language they have. 7. The warning. When you see more than one of these at once. If you've recognized 2, 3, or more of these signs in your dog, the quiet withdrawal, the appetite changes, the low energy, the stillness where there used to be play, the eyes that don't quite find yours anymore, don't wait for it to get worse. Canine depression, when it goes unaddressed, deepens. It can affect their immune system, their sleep, and their long-term physical health. And because dogs are instinctively wired to mask vulnerability, by the time the signs feel undeniable, it has usually been building for a long time. What actually helps is simpler than most people expect. Consistent routine, gentle re-engagement without pressure, more time outside, more physical presence, not more activity, more you, and a veterinary visit to rule out anything physical underneath it. Don't try to fix them all at once. Just show up, steadily. That is what they are asking for. Don't ignore it. So when your dog goes quiet, when the energy drops and the eyes go still, and the space between you starts to feel wider than it used to, they are not just having an off week. They are telling you their world has shifted, and they don't know how to carry that alone. That's not moodiness. That's not age. That's an animal whose entire sense of safety is anchored to you, showing you the only way they know how that something is wrong. Those signs, the ones so easy to explain away, the ones hiding in plain sight, they were never small to your dog. They shouldn't be small to you either. If this video helped you see your dog differently, share it with someone who loves their dog. And subscribe. We'll keep helping you understand what your dog has been trying to tell you.